20% gains every single day.
Yeah.
And so I think it doesn't need to have a catalyst. It just needs to exist. It just needs to be traded. It needs to have the volume, right? It needs to be strong. And I think that's really the catalyst. Just being in existence is good enough to me.
Well, I agree. You know what? I think that's one of the reasons why I know you had mentioned before that I'm, an ETH hater. It's not that I'm an ETH hater. You are exactly right that ETH is the leader. It leads the altcoin charge. And right now it's not doing that. And which is, making the rest of my bag suffer because the other altcoins are not following. But you mentioned the Coke analogy. Yeah. The reason, people always buy Coke because it's kind of embedded in people's minds is because Coke actually tastes good. That's
hold on a second. You telling me that ETH is not a good chain? It still is.
It is.
It still is, and it's super cheap now. So technically, it's still doing what it should be doing. Now, if it was stagnant and people didn't really consider dropping the fees structure or didn't want to scale properly, then I'd understand. I would say, you know what, you need to evolve with everything else. But I think they're trying to do that, and
they are now.
So,
I will agree, they are now. But the signs were there that they really needed to step up. And for a while, it was status quo. They weren't doing anything. Vitalik was off partying, doing his golf clap, and dating, and kind of forgot about his baby.
You can't fault him for that, though.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I'm glad to see it's finally waking up and doing well. Let's hope it continues because Juan, I'll come to you now. You've been saying every single week that you really want Ethereum to wake up because when Ethereum wakes up, the rest of the altcoins wake up.
Totally agree. And some of the analogies actually make sense, right? So if we kind of refer to this Coca-Cola analogy, right? You look at the fact that Coca-Cola's formula has stayed the same for almost, 100 years, right? So it means if it's broke, you don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
But in Ethereum's case, it's broken. And what was the number one complaint, right? And we discussed it. We discussed it on our previous streams. What needs to change? The fact that these fees are so high, and people did see a reprieve from the fees, but that's just because volume dropped, right? But there was so much pressure for Ethereum to perform on this. What did they have to do? Increase its performance. So now the Ethereum block now is it's more efficient. So right now, I think before it was performing at 6 blobs. Now it's doing 9 per transaction. So that means now you're more efficient. The fee should drop. What else is it doing? It also now burns ETH. It became deflationary. Again, to spur on, right? The sufficiency to spur on price increase. But at the same time, what people are not realizing is this is a business, right? However you want to look at Ethereum, you got to look at it from a business standpoint. And people were not making money on the transaction side because the volume has dropped so significantly. So I think that there was a better upgrade in the future. But because of this pressure that's been under, the way it's been performing, where it retouched September values, right, of last year, unnecessarily, by the way, right, then I think that this is why we got right now, right, where things are bouncing, things are being pressurized, people are trying to create this enthusiasm. But I agree with Chart that we can't say it's bullish yet because it hasn't reached that level of okay, we're officially back. Because again, right, what's next after this upgrade? What is the plan for Ethereum? Does it mean it's a catalyst? Maybe not, but it does need something to show that its resurgence is well founded. I don't think existing for Ethereum is enough.